guys, this is Romney Black. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. What we're going to do is we're going to go through some records, find some samples, and basically create a hot loop. This is how I sketch my ideas. It's an old school technique that's been used for a very long time. I really love it. I love the process of digging for actual records and finding stuff that no one's ever used. A couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine, Ant Scalacci, called me and said that there was a record fair in Paddington in Sydney, and I went through the crates and found some old soul and jazz records. That's what we're going to be chopping up today. Let's see what we can come up with. Okay, so after digging for about 15 minutes, I found a sample. It's actually one of the samples off the first records that I played. I've now loaded that into the DJS1000, and we're going to go through and give it a bit of a chop and add some drums and see what we can come up with. This was the sample that I chose. So that's pretty much it. So the DJS1000 and a lot of other DAWs and hardware units have a set slicing feature, which I actually like to use. I do like to pick up my own slices every now and then, but I find that if I just use the ones that are automatically selected, it comes up with ideas that I might not have used. So with the DJS, it's just a matter of hitting the sample button and hitting slice. So let's just put it into 16 slices, which sound like this. Slices. So one of the things I like to do obviously is put the kick down first, because what that will do will give me the timing for what I'm going to play or punch in. So let's do that, and then let's write something. Okay, so first we're going to put our kick in. And our clap. We're writing a pretty standard jack beat today, so hats. But before we start doing all that stuff, let's get into this sample. We can't have a track that's just full of like banging horns. It's going to be too much. So there's some subtle stuff up the top here that I'll probably use. And we'll play it with kick and see how it sounds. So the type of house music I write, jacking or filtered house or disco house, whatever you want to call it, tends to have a lot of swing. So currently I've got the swing setting on the DJS1000 at 40%. We're only running at 120 BPM. I'll put that up to 122. I like highly swung house. So let's see what we can come up with. too bad a loop. Let's drop the volume on that a little bit. Cool. Now, claps. Alright, so we've got a bit of a loop going. Now to add some bass. This unit has a scale feature as well as a bass feature, so I've loaded in a sub bass. I'm just going to scale it up. So it's just about finding the key by ear and laying down a bass line. Pretty quick. All the drum samples in this track or this loop come from the Phil Weeks OG sample pack. I also just picked up a cheeky little vocal that he has created. It sounds like this. You remember these days. You remember these days. So we'll just fit that in somewhere. I'm gonna. So we're only at the moment doing 1 bar. I'm gonna move it to 2. So it's longer, just so that we can fit in maybe a couple more changes. So let's see what we come up with. So one of the other things I like to do, if you listen to any of my music, is, although I'm classed, I guess, these days in the gentrification of house music as a jacking house DJ, a lot of the stuff I used to play or that I used to search for when I was originally playing records in the late 90s and early 2000s was filtered house. So if you listen to a lot of my music, there's a lot of filtering on the master, bringing samples in and out. So when I write something like this, I want to make sure that it kind of fits my style. This unit has a high and low pass filter, and you can choose which tracks you want it on. I tend to put them on the sample tracks, filter things out, make sure that it's going to work on the dance floor, and see how it sounds. Thanks for joining me. My name is Romeo Black. If you have any questions, just add them in the comments down below. If you like what you saw, feel free to subscribe, like, and all that stuff. If you want to know the samples or anything about the DJS1000, please ask a question. Peace.